Hello, National Capital Presbytery. You are here with myself, John Molina Moore, General Presbyter of National Capital Presbytery, Heather Deacon, who is your Director of Business Affairs and your Treasurer here in the Presbytery, and Casey Thompson, who is the pastor at Idlewood Presbyterian Church and Knox Presbyterian Church, who is also the chair of the New Things team, which is the group in our presbytery that oversees and works with all the new worshiping communities and new ideas that are bubbling up inside our presbytery and inside of our churches. We're gathered here today to present some more information as we step into our special presbytery meeting, which will be on the evening of the 16th at 7 o'clock on Zoom. It is going to be a special meeting so that we can vote to draw some money down from our new growth fund to support some new and exciting things that are happening on the ground right now in our presbytery. So right now, we're going to share with you some more background and information about the fund and about those projects. So I will pass it off to Heather Deacon, our Director of Business Affairs, to talk with us about what the New Growth Fund is and how we use it in this presbytery.
Thanks, John. So our New Growth Fund was established about 5 years ago. It came out of the New Church Development Fund, and it came out of the funds left over from the Centerville dissolution. So those monies combined, we created the New Growth Fund. What makes the New Growth Fund a little bit different is that it is not a fund set aside to be self-sustaining. It is a fund that is set aside to use for new things, new ministries, new ideas. That's what the money was provisioned for. And that's how we've been using it for the last 5 years to fund primarily our new worshiping communities, new ideas in the presbytery. We've already drawn down the money that was budgeted this year for the New Growth Fund. And so I want to tell you what the remaining balance is. I think that's going to be an important piece as you all consider this, that you know how much money is in the fund. So right now we have about $1.3 million in the New Growth Fund set aside to do new and exciting ministries within the presbytery. And I think Casey is here to tell us a little bit about what new and exciting thing we have an opportunity to consider coming up at the special meeting.
All right, thank you. We're actually here to ask you for investments in two things. One is that the New Things team oversees the new worshiping communities that are part of National Capital Presbytery. We recently did our mid-year assessments with those. One of them especially looked like it needed some additional investment at this particular time, and that's Faith Luckett's. And so the first thing that we're asking you is to approve an additional $20,000 for the leadership of that community. There are things happening at that community that everyone on the committee was just very excited about. They are doing a sort of routine, messy church that has a number of people from the community there. They are doing high-level concerts that the community is coming to, dance classes. There's a wonderful food pantry that's being utilized. There are a lot of things that are happening, and it looks like the leadership that's there right now, there's been some transition of leadership, but she's very good, and the team wanted to invest so that she could put more of her time into the church. And so we are asking for $20,000 for Faith Luckett's. Normally, we would have done that out of what was left in our budget. But earlier in the year, the Leadership Council came to us and asked if we would be interested in overseeing this missional incubator. You've heard us talk about that. We talked about at the May meeting. We told you we'd be coming back and asking you for more money for the balance of the year, because the first part of that we were able to pay for out of that reserve of what was left in our budget. The additional $71,000 essentially covers the expenses from August to the end of the year, and then it'll go into the budget for next year. That's largely personnel expenses, but it's the missional incubator, if you have not heard of it yet, is essentially a cohort program for churches that are looking to pivot to some significant new ministry, whether that's a nonprofit ministry or a social enterprise that helps provide not only a place for outreach to the community, but also the possibility for additional revenue or income streams to come into the church, a way to do a new thing. Now, If we're doing that on our own, it's often overwhelming, but if we can go with a group of people and with some guides who have gone on the way before, suddenly it's a lot less terrifying. And so that's really what the program is about. It's getting people together so they can make those plans and build their teams. And for the balance of this year, we need an additional $71,000 because it was not something we were planning on budgeting last year. It's the new thing that God is doing. And so you can see in the budget a breakout of what those expenses are. But those are the two things that we are excited about and for which we need to ask you for additional investment.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Heather. These are great problems to have in life of the presbytery, right? As Casey mentioned, God is doing new things right here that we were not thinking about last fall when we budgeted for how we might be able to respond faithfully when ideas like this present themselves. So we are here today. Who knows when you're watching this, right? But you are coming to hopefully join us on the 16th to have this conversation as a presbytery and to vote to draw down these funds so that we can faithfully respond to what we think God is calling this presbytery to do for the rest of this year. And we'll be back in the fall as we think about what the budget is going to look like for 2025, as we also faithfully respond to the calling of new things in life of this presbytery. So we'll see you all on the 16th.